Hey, just finished this episode with John. This episode we get into a few different things. Definitely merchandise. Cool things about the United jerseys for COD champs. The CDL as a whole, and what United looks like, right now and going forward. So give this one a listen. Let me know what you think. Um, Leave a review on iTunes if you haven't. And yeah, that's it. Here's the episode. Thanks. Hello and welcome to episode number 21 of the After Hours podcast. Here with me today, I have the creative director of Eunited, John. I'm going to do it wrong again. DeHart. Did I do it wrong?
What's going on, man? No,
Okay,
DeHart
cool.
was perfect.
My bad. I overthink that sometimes, just a little bit.
I mean, we just talked about it 5 minutes ago, dude.
I know. My bad. Cool. Well, thank you for coming on. Thanks. This should be a good one. I'm excited to get into all things creative direction and United too. So it should be fun.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on. Been a big fan. I think the industry's kind of sorely lacking stuff like this. I think it's really top heavy. You've got some of the heavy hitters who are making out content, but there's a whole big industry here of interesting people. I think you've kind of started to chip at that nut a little bit, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Thanks. Well, I appreciate that. I guess to start, give a little bit of background on what you do, I guess, for United.
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, my name is John DeHart. I'm the creative director for Eunited. We're a professional esports organization competing currently in 4 titles. It's a little bit different about what I would have said about 2 months ago, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So my role is creative director. We're a very small organization in terms of manpower. So when I say creative director, that sounds maybe like I'm just handling video or photos or stuff like that. We're a really small startup, so there's a lot of hats that are worn in our company. So I'm handling anything on a daily basis, probably everything outside of team management. So whether that's partnerships, our actual creative, our social media, which is very near and dear to me, our graphic design team, our video production team. Basically, I'm at the top of all of that, making sure that everything is on brand and on point with what we want to be giving to our fan base.
Cool. It sounds like a hectic yet fulfilling job.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I've always, since United came around, because what did you do before United?
What did I do before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a weird kind of story about how I got into esports and everything like that. But before I was working in United, I was working on the legal side of things in technology. So not even marketing. I was an IT manager for a law firm in New Jersey. And I kind of transitioned while I was working there into a little bit of marketing. We were also kind of a small law firm there. So I was kind of doing a little bit of both. But then, I just kind of stumbled upon esports and knew I had to get involved. And, that's maybe a whole other story. I don't know if you want me to get into that.
I mean, origin stories are always fun, especially if it's more of a, especially, I didn't know. So Eunited was your first esports gig.
No.
Oh,
okay. So yeah, let's bring it back. So let's just bring it back. I'm a fossil for esports. Right? I'm 29. I'm not exactly sure how old you are, but
26.
29 years
Almost
old, 26. I feel like I'm pushing it for esports. So let's bring it back to 20 to when I was 16. So probably, what was that? That was 2006, 2007. I'm playing Halo competitively as a kid. We don't have esports back then. That's competitive gaming. Playing EGL events, MLG events, everything like that. Loved Halo. Came from Halo. Played Halo 2, Halo 3 competitively. Then kind of got to the point where, okay, time to go to school. Time to focus on life. Stopped playing video games. Sold my Xbox. Got out of video games altogether. I didn't meet my wife. I knew my wife in high school, but got married. and then started working in the real world. I still call it the real world because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm still working in a fantasy world right now. But
Yeah.
worked in the real world for a while. And one day I'm sitting at work, and I don't know if I'm on Twitter or what I'm on, and I found Halo being played at like on this thing called Twitch. I never heard of Twitch before. This was, I think, H2A. So that was, was that a game ago, 2 games ago. H2A, and I see Snipe Down playing, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's still playing. What is this? Like, this is a guy that I looked up to when I was playing, like back when I was younger. So I kind of got enveloped into it, and I was like, holy crap, this is so cool. Esports is awesome. From there, I jumped over. I found a forum online called Team Beyond. And they've actually since grown as well. They were like a Halo hub, a Halo community. Now they're actually owned by Astro Gaming,
Right.
and they're a tournament platform now. I made a lot of good friends there, and I started like straight up just memeing, like making memes all the time because I'm just kind of a funny person and I like to, make fun of stuff and see the humor and everything. So I'm doing that for a little while, and I realized like, man, maybe I could do something with this. And not many people's that work in this industry's first job is with an organization like Team Liquid, but I literally got hired to go work for Team Liquid on their social team part time, and this is again like 2016. So, um, infrastructure was still kind of being built by all these companies and everything like that, but part time. Literally, my title was memologist, as
boy.
ridiculous as that sounds.
That's great.
And it was just kind of, and you can kind of see if you look at the Team Liquid brand and where they are now. I think I'm certainly not claiming stake to any of what they do now to back what I did in 2016, but that was my intention, was to make it, less reporting the score and more community building and having fun, and not taking yourself too seriously and connecting with your fan base, which is not 40-year-old dudes that watch baseball. It's teenagers and younger men and women that like memes and stuff like that. Like, we're on Twitter just for memes basically. So that's where I started. Was working for them for about 6 months, and all the while just kind of elevating my brand a little bit. And then I don't know how I got into contact with Matt. He's the GM of Eunited, Matt Potoff, former professional player for Team Curse and Automatic Reload, a bunch of other teams. And he's the GM for Eunited. Now, Eunited at this point, and this is like early 2016, they had just been around for a couple of months at this point. Eunited has about 4,000 Twitter followers. They've got a underperforming Gears of War team. They've got a pretty terrible Call of Duty team. But basically, I was kind of given an opportunity to work with them along with keeping my job at Team Liquid because it was all part-time, all the while working at the law firm still. Yeah. Just to start helping them out with graphic design and stuff like that, because I'm well trained in that stuff. So that was kind of my entry into United. And then from there, I think I just became like the thorn in Matt's side that just wouldn't go away and just kept taking more and more and more and more from him.
Yeah.
And you fast forward to now, I mean, we're a pretty globally recognized esports brand right now. We are nominated at the esports awards, which I think by the time you guys listen to this will be in the past. So hopefully we won. Nominated for esports team of the year and organization of the year. And we're with some pretty lofty and pretty well-regarded teams. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy, wild ride and absolute nonsense to think that like my first job title in the esports industry was literally memologist, making $250 a month. But now I'm working a sustainable job that's just growing, and it's a blast every day.
Yeah, I mean I love, like, one of my favorite things about this podcast is obviously like I have a certain rapport with the people that I bring on in most cases, but everybody's got a different story, especially like prior to esports or early level esports. And I think it's super interesting that like you came in to esports Twitter as a guy that liked to do memes and got a job doing that. Like,
yeah,
it just proved, like, literally, maybe not anybody, but I mean, I guess anybody, if you do it right,
for sure,
and do it at a, I guess at the level that it needs to be done, and you're consistent with it and you're good at it, why the hell not? Like, if I need whatever you are offering, I'll give you a job, whoever that is.
Yeah, I mean, I think our industry is like uniquely positioned where the talent that's available to this industry is like overbounding and huge. There's lots of people that think like, holy crap, I can work doing video game stuff. Like that's awesome. And the access to that pool, and basically like it's hard because I think there's like a line in the sand of gamers that are like lazy and don't want to do anything. But I've also seen some people that, even earlier times in United where we weren't paying people full-time wages, that they were just grinding their butts off because they believed in something, they love something. I can tell you from working in the real world, again, we'll go back to that for, 10 years or whatever. You get really jaded and you just kind of get sick of it. It's just really monotonous. And with United, or with esports, I should say, it's just ever evolving, changing, and there's just new things coming at you left and right. There's new games, there's new teams, new organizations. It's just constantly evolving, and literally there's a position for everybody if you're willing to work your butt off.
Yeah, I definitely agree that is probably one of the greatest things about esports is there's so much to do, and you mentioned the monotony. I don't know if that's a word of like working in the real world, and like everything gets very repetitive. I worked in retail. I was a logistics manager at Target, and every day like there was different things that happened throughout the day, but you go in. Your priority one is to get XYZ done. How you get it done is a little bit different each day, but it's very repetitive. I feel like every day I come to the office and get some work done, it's always different. There's always, to an extent, something going on in esports that's different, that either brightens the day or whatever it looks like. And then there's always someone that wants to do something different, especially in the apparel side of things. So I think, gotta love the variety that is esports. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, for sure.
So, obviously, Eunited was very early on into the brand of Eunited. They got involved in Call of Duty. So I don't know if I would. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I would consider Call of Duty to be the staple game that Eunited had, but it was definitely one of the main ones.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we had League of Legends for a little while there, and we were
That's right.
competing at the NACS, which is like one step below the LCS before they implemented franchising.
Yeah.
And we were also pretty big in the pre-Overwatch era. But yeah, United is Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is United.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with the Call of Duty League coming around, and franchising being a thing, and the limitations, I guess, around a brand like United being a global brand versus the CDL having, region-specific or city-specific teams. There almost had to be some type of shift there. So I guess with, as far as things that you are able to say, what did that, process look like, behind closed doors? Like how did that all unravel?
Yeah. So sorry if you can hear my pup in the background. It's dinner time over here. So
It's all good.
sorry about that. He's a little guy. But yeah, so it was really interesting. Obviously, we were very excited and interested, and we were definitely in the running for a Call of Duty League spot. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff we can't talk about because, I mean, if you could just kind of look at us and look at our organization, where we came from, where we're even going, I wouldn't ever count us out for the next time they expand or anything like that.
Of course, yeah.
A lot of the stuff I have to, kind of tiptoe on. But I will say there are opportunities to retain your brand within the game. You've seen Optic Gaming and FaZe do it. Now, the way that Optic did it is, as far as I know, the way that you could do it. And that would be to drop all of your teams and basically license your brand to the Activision and CDL. How Atlanta FaZe did it, I'm not privy. I have no idea how they did that, because they obviously retained all their other players and teams and other things, and they're still called the Atlanta FaZe. So I definitely don't know what that was. I'm not sure that was an option for us, but it's very interesting. I think personally, I mean, if you're asking me, I think it's a slight mistake. We've got a lot of a lot of history in Call of Duty. It's been around for a long time. And, you still have the Dallas Empire, who are the spirit of envy, but wouldn't it be better to maybe have the Dallas Envy versus the Dallas Empire. And then like, any of those casual fans that might have kind of like dropped off, but they remember like, oh man, I remember when JCap won the world championship with Envy back then. Now this guy's still playing. They wouldn't make that connection to the Empire and Envy unless they're really looking into it. So I think it's actually really interesting. I think that they could have, how the LCS did it, I think has been my favorite way to see franchising so far. Just with, the organizations being able to retain their spots and their branding. But also from a creative perspective, I was like super excited to build a new brand outside of Eunited and try and capture the essence of Eunited in a new brand that's more, as you said, like geolocated and accessible to a more local thing versus Eunited being a global brand.
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited to do that. We definitely got somewhere along in the process of doing that. Just things didn't work out for us in the end. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I have no real connection to anybody that's got all that info. So as a blind fan, United was definitely one of the organizations I was pulling for, I guess, to be in that first run. Mostly because I love all you guys there. And I'm also I've always followed Clay. I've always been a pretty big fan of him. Now that I brought Clay up, what was that like? Like, walking, or not walking away, but like the ending of an era of, United Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond Clay, like I'll get back to Clay in a second. First of all, it was a gut punch for sure. It sucked once we kind of figured out. We knew a little earlier than, it was announced that we weren't going to get in. So we were just kind of like playing the cards online to, put on a happy face kind of thing. But it definitely hurt. And I'll tell you, Clay hurt, but the twins, Alec and Preston, Arcides and Pristini, they had been with us since 2016. So, and this is talking all of esports, let alone COD, but all of esports. Tell me who has a 3-year tenure with an organization. There's not many players. There's not many commitments on both sides of the player and to the brand and from the brand to commit that long. I saw these kids literally, they were 18 when I first met them. We first started doing content in Dallas in 2017. And I've seen them grown, and like the thing that hurt me the most is I've been involved. Like we have The Ascent, which is our documentary production for Call of Duty and stuff like that. And I've seen those two grow so much, like leaps and bounds from when they first started. And like, they were just like super camera shy and they couldn't like talk. They would stumble over their words to now, like I just want a handshake from, the franchise that they went to, because now they're like media trained. They're ready to go. And then Clay, I mean, Clay's a superstar. There's no way around it. That was one of the biggest jumping points for our brand, taking the next step. We had won in Call of Duty before Clay. But I think Clay really got a lot more eyeballs on us. And then once we got those eyeballs on us, we kind of, converted them into United fans. I have access to Twitter and I run the Twitter from now and then. And I see just people all the time saying, I love Clay, but I came for Clay, but I stayed with the United. And, like that breakup, I'm really confident in our brand and the games that we're getting into and the games that we have, that we've kind of converted a lot of those Call of Duty fans into United fans. But yeah, it was real painful. I mean, that was our bread and butter. I don't think there's any easier way to say it than that, for 3 years. So, it feels like a piece is taken away from you when you're, kind of evaluating your next steps, but also that what you're kind of allocating towards that, which was certainly a lot of money and resources, now becomes available to the rest of your organization, which is something that's super exciting for us.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, I guess maybe we could talk a little bit about, you mentioned the four titles that you guys were in. I know you just recently signed that Rocket League team, like very recently, per recording this. But what else are you guys currently in as far as a team goes?
So we have our Super Smash Ultimate player, Samsora. He is an absolute gem.
Yes.
One of the favorite people I've ever met in esports. If you haven't had any kind of entry into the Super Smash Brothers scene, definitely go check him out because he's absolutely hilarious. He's the number 4 right now ranked PGRU player in the world. We feel very confidently, extremely confident that he will be ranked number 2 once they update in winter. So he's won a major this year. He's a really great ambassador for our brand, and he's a lot of fun. We have Smite, definitely a lesser known title. They've been with us for a long time. We have a great history in Smite, and a lot of fans in Smite. We won the Smite World Championship in 2017, which was a $1 million tournament. So we've got a legacy there, and Smite Worlds actually occurs next week. So probably the week that you guys might be listening to this, that's when Smite Worlds is. So that's a fun game. We're in Counter-Strike. We're trying to build the North American dream, and it's a really hard thing to do. We have a full North American roster. We've got Freakazoid, who's been really well known in the past, was on Cloud9 for a little while, and basically a team of rookies that right now we're ranked 5th regionally, 5th in North America. We're just outside the top 30 in global. It's a really tough game, and if you're not investing like tons of money like 100T and Evil Geniuses just did, it's really hard to be competitive. And we've done a lot with what we have, because like I said before, we're a really small company compared to some of these other guys. And then we just added Rocket League, literally an hour and a half ago. We just announced that as of this recording, so we're really excited for that. They're in the Rocket League Championship Series, the highest level of Rocket League competitive play. They are going to be competing for us this weekend at their regionals, and hopefully they qualify to their world championships. And then what I can say is to keep your eyes on our Twitter, because that's not where we're stopping. Like I said, there was a big void that was left by Call of Duty, but with that, a lot of resources that need to be allocated. And, if you just kind of take a look at the esports landscape right now and see what games are trending and going up and going down, I think you can probably surmise where we're going to end up. I think we'll probably have about 6 or 7 teams by the end of the year. That's what I'm hopeful for. And, we're just going to go into 2020 with a brand new mindset. We don't have these legends of Call of Duty anymore. So let's introduce our brand to all these other titles and show them what we got.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everything else that you guys do. I'm not huge in like the fighting game scene, but I definitely I follow at least Samsora's kind of career so far since he's been with the Eunited. So it's definitely been it's been fun to watch him, and I'm excited to see everything else that you guys do, at least personally.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted I'm actually glad that I remembered about this from back at Champs, when you guys won Champs, and you brought out those beautiful gold. Is it a gold foil that's on the front?
It was
of
a gold foil. Yes.
I'm mad I didn't remember this prior to this recording. Trying to scroll through Twitter, but I don't think I'll find it in time. But I remember watching, because I was watching the event live, and I remembered all 5 of the players were back in the shadows, and all you could see was the gold foil of the logo. Now, obviously things like that could be done by accident, but was that the goal? Was that factored in when you designed those, or was that a happy accident?
No, that was definitely the goal. So for Champs, and I can even give you like a primer on the rest of our year with merch, but we were like really heavy into merch last year. We were doing really well with sales and everything like that, and we were kind of introducing a new jersey every event, and we were doing terrific with them. So for Champs, there was 2 things to consider. One, we had just won Miami finals, so we were running on a cloud of momentum. Really excited for Champs. And obviously when you win an event or you come top 2 or top 3, casual fan interest skyrockets. So you have like the Eunited, we call them like the horsemen of these guys that like they just live and breathe and die red, white, and blue in Eunited. They love us. But then there's also the casual fans who are very important to us too. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to give something that was really cool to them, at Champs. So what we came out with is we came out with these gold jerseys, and these you may not have seen too much of. They were our blank, or not our blank. I shouldn't say our blank, but our standard jersey, but color palette swapped. So they were just gold. So it was just black and gold. And so we had those made, and then we got them. We were happy with them. We ended up selling out of them super quickly. But then, like, we were kind of sitting back, and this is me, Matt, who's our GM, and we're like, we should really probably do something special for these guys, because not that this gold jersey isn't special, but we should maybe do something like the next level. So then we went and talked to our jersey provider, manufacturer, and I was like, how can we get something that just elevates it just a little bit more? And they said, let's try this gold foil. I don't think it'll work, but let's try it. And we tried it. We first actually tried it on the gold jersey that we made with the gold trim, and I did not like it. I actually hated it. I said, no, we can't do this, and we scrapped it. And then we kind of took a step back, and we were like, wait, what if we put it on the throwback jersey, which is, by the way, a Sector 6 original design?
It was.
Yeah. So our throwback jersey, so it's obviously been changed a little bit to kind of get up to current day thing. But we did the big logo hit. Instead of it being red and blue, we went with the reflective gold, and we did it on the names on the back. And like, it was just like a light bulb went off. When we saw that, it was like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So we surprised them with that on Saturday night. We didn't even tell them we had them, because we didn't want them like really posting about it or anything like that, and we didn't really hype them up on social media until like the day of. It was like, oh, by the way, there's one more. And we were super happy. We kept them super exclusive. We didn't sell them. I think there were probably like 15 made. I've got one. I'm looking at one right now. It's framed up. It's gorgeous. But it was really cool. And I think the photo you're talking about is Rob Paul. He's one of the best esports photographers. Like, from the back, he just took this photo, and it's just it's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, that photo, I mean, hands down.
Or is that another one? Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, yeah, hands down. Yeah. That's the one that Matt had a bunch of canvases made.
Yep, I have one of those. Yep.
Hands down, best esports picture I have ever seen.
Oh, that's insane.
And I read his story on it.
Like how the lens flare and everything like that.
Yeah,
in the
it was like
left. Oh.
I think somebody had him move at some point too. Like, he was in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. A lot of people don't think that there's more than just point, click, and hope you get a good still. There's a lot that goes into getting a picture like that, and hats off to that guy.
He's the best.
But what I was talking about was at the
are you talking about when they were getting introed and everything was kind of dark?
Yeah. So they were standing in the back,
I know
and
what
you
you're
just see
talking
the
about.
little glimmer. Oh man, that was that. I was like, hold on a second, because at that time I didn't see you guys posted about it at all.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I saw them. So they're just sitting in there, gold foil on just gold foil floating Eunited logos. I appreciated that, because obviously I have a little bit of a connection to apparel, but I thought that was super, super cool. So hats off to you guys and everybody involved in that. That was awesome.
Yeah, we were really excited, and the players loved them. We've got a couple that are like framed and signed with everybody's name on them and everything like that. Just kind of a piece of our legacy for sure.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool for sure. So I guess to piggyback off that, you mentioned that you guys were doing really well in merchandise. What does that look like for you, as far as the planning, the putting together, the designs? What is your, I guess, goal, maybe focus of where you want to go with merchandise? Like, what is that, thought process for you guys?
Yeah, so I think pretty much every esports org is kind of like looking at streetwear right now, and like, how can we?
All right, sorry about that. We had a slight audio bug. I guess that's the beauty of recording remotely. But yeah, John was just getting into future type ideas and how merchandise is talked about internally.
Yeah, so like I was saying, our focus right now is a little bit it's kind of hitting a few different things. The esports industry in general, I think, is moving towards a streetwear vibe. I think that's pretty clear with 100T. Now Energy is looking into it, and a lot of other brands. And I think there's definitely room on board with that. I think streetwear is really cool. I also think there's something that we need to keep in mind, and that's the more casual fans who maybe just want a T-shirt with our logo on it, or something like that. So what I was saying is, we kind of conceptualize our designs to go into like 3 buckets, and that's, we want to make sure that's comfortable for the fans. That's something that I'm very big on, because if I buy a shirt and I don't like it, I don't like how it fits, or it shrinks on me or something like that, then it just goes in the garbage. And that's not the kind of experience I want our fans to have. I want to make sure it looks cool, which, that's an obvious. So we've got all kinds of people, both internally at United and also with our apparel provider, who are designing new stuff all the time to kind of keep with the trends. And third, we want to keep something that's on brand. So like, I have plenty of photos, and we've used them for posters and stuff before for our video productions, but like, our fans just a sea of United jerseys in white and brown, or white and blue and red and black jerseys and everything like that. So like, keeping it on brand. So if you got the person who's like more of a traditional sports fan where they just want a blue T-shirt with the United logo on it, that's something I want to be able to afford to offer them. But then at the same time, I want to have some really trendy, streetwear, kind of direction, which I think is, like I said, the whole industry is going that way. So I think what we're going to be doing coming up here in the future is moving more towards a hybrid selling presence. So right now we just kind of say, oh, here's all our stuff, buy it. And I think what we're going to be doing is moving to more like a drop system. So we'll have a few pieces on our basic line that'll be kind of evergreen, standard T-shirt, our jerseys, maybe some hats. But then we're also going to move into making some, maybe direct cut and sew, special kind of, apparel items. And hopefully we'll have one of those coming out here soon. But I think it's just managing the expectation of our fan base that, they don't want just one thing. Everybody kind of wants something different. Trying to hit all of those is what's really important to us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I've not really had the privy of like being the guy in charge of merchandise, but I've definitely seen the trends in the space thus far, especially like you mentioned when 100 Thieves, did their since the beginning of their merchandise. It definitely, I think the best or the most cash beneficial and the best for the fan base would be to have a collection of your evergreens, your replica jersey, your T-shirt, your hoodie, things like that. And then you do that drop system that you mentioned, because then you could do some really cool, short run stuff of 100, 200, 500 pieces, depending on the buying power of the team. And you get some really interesting stuff out there, and you build the hype around those things. But then when those things all sell out, but somebody still wants a piece because they just found out about that brand, they still have something to get. I think, I think I would, I don't know, I feel like 100 Thieves might not ever go towards that route of a true, I guess, evergreen collection. But I would be interested to see them doing that. I would like to see what that difference would be in their sales numbers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've seen their pop-ups at events and stuff where they had lines out the door, and that's something that's incredible. But I would also argue that limited production run of how much money they made, compared to what we've made in the last, like, let's say they save all of their stuff up for one drop at this event, and we're selling evergreen stuff for the last 3 or 4 months, which is since their last drop. So if you kind of look at those at the same level, I would probably think that the sales numbers aren't so much different.
Right.
Obviously 100T is a bigger brand than us, and I'm fine saying that. But I think there's certainly room, like they've made some really cool stuff. Like their anorak jacket is absolutely sick. And, some of their other stuff has been really cool, but some of their other stuff, like, almost doesn't even constitute like being drop worthy, in my opinion, like, just a white T-shirt. And why not make that available to everybody? Because I will tell you one thing, and I'm sure you might've seen this too, from where you are, is if you literally Google search 100 T-shirt or Eunited shirt, they're out there being produced by people that are not licensing correctly, and the kid probably who buys that stuff might get made fun of for about 5 minutes, but then after that he's got a 100 t-shirt for $15 that you're not making that profit off of him because he bought it from some third-party vendor. So I think that's another like struggle with it, where we have something in our shop at all times available. If you want it, you can go get it. When it's not available, they're going to look towards other places to get that product.
Yeah. I feel like I want to say I've seen things like that before. Maybe not with 100 Thieves specifically, but that's not actually something I've put a lot of thought into, because that makes it makes a lot of sense, because obviously somebody between their, whether it's quarterly or every 4 months or however their drop system works, people want that stuff in between. It just doesn't, the want just doesn't go away. So I agree. I think there's definitely a comfortable medium between only evergreen, doing the same thing, changing it up every year type thing, and then your quarterly drop thing. I think obviously what we're discussing here might be that happy medium, but there might be a downside to that, but I don't think so. But I think I'd be interested to see them do it, along with whoever else does drop only type merchandise drops, I guess.
I think one thing to consider too is that might be on their roadmap. They just hired not too long ago somebody who came from the fashion industry to run their merch and stuff like that. So, they might be retooling. It's the end of the year, so it's a little hard to do. I wouldn't, the way they're expanding, and I'm a big fan of them in general. I think they're doing really good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they wouldn't leave that money on the table, but maybe they would. They are building exclusivity and maybe manufacturing more demand that way. So maybe they don't.
Yeah, definitely will be on my radar for, probably as long as I'm in the esports space at the very least. Cool. Yeah. I always love talking merch. I guess one other, the only other real thing I wanted to deep dive in with you is like the media stuff, the creation, you call, I don't know who came up with the title memeologist, but you at one point were referred to as a memeologist. I love it. I think it's great. It's not something that you see very often. I know, I think the Outlaws do it. The Houston Outlaws have like a similar strategy around that meme style posting. I think, I see you guys do it all the time. It's something that we have kind of tried to implement to some extent. But I think, why do you think it is that is so successful when it's, just Eunited just getting on and like being funny versus being serious? And why do you think more organizations should do it that way? Or do you not?
So this is how I look at it. So we are a professional esports team. All right, that's why you came to our page to begin with, whether you're a Rocket League fan, a Call of Duty fan, a Counter-Strike fan, whatever title that brought you to our page, that's what earned your follow. That's how I view it. Now, I have an obligation as the creative director here and like the steward of our brand to retain you. And what happens when your favorite team doesn't play? You're like, why am I following this account? They're posting about whatever, and then they're posting about some other team that I don't care about, or maybe you don't have any interest in that game, and then they lose. You lose them because your team isn't competing. The esports season is kind of weird. It fluctuates between game to game. There's no, baseball is April to October, March to October, and football is September to March, and there's those defined windows. And for us, there is no defined window where you're going to be, keeping your fan base. So the way that we look at it, or that I look at it, is that you need to not just be an esports team. Like that's what our job is, but our job is also to entertain our fan base and become entertainers just as much as we are posting our scoreboards and stuff like that. So you came for the players, but you're coming back because we make you laugh. We're giving you content that you can relate to. Like at the end of the day, we're playing video games. Like we're playing video games for lots of money. It's hilarious in itself to think about. And why would you take yourself super seriously? And I think there's a lot of orgs that, are not doing it right. And maybe they sell more money, or they can raise capital a little bit better because, maybe their structure is a little, older focused. But I think when you look at the social numbers and stuff like that, we compete with just about everybody. I think you can look at Cloud9, you can look at TSM, us. At the end of the day, we're playing video games. We're having fun. We don't need to take this so seriously because our fan base, our audience demographics are 14 to 24-year-old males predominantly. And what do 14 to 24-year-old males like to do? They like to laugh their asses off. They like to watch stupid videos. And like I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's shit posting sometimes. And
Yeah.
It's stuff that it makes you laugh. And that's, if you think of it like a currency, that's worth your like, and that's worth the follow. So that's why I think it's super important to, just kind of keep your brand fresh and not be stuffy. I mean, you don't want to be posting scorecards the whole time because, it's not interesting.
No, yeah, I hear you. I agree. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of scorecards. At least, and if you guys do this, don't take this the wrong way. But I don't like seeing scorecards in like a CS:GO match every round. I've seen that before, and I don't think you guys do that. But I would lose my mind. Every single 90 seconds seeing a scorecard, it's like if people cared that much, they'd tune into Twitch.
Yeah,
but
we I've seen it. I'm not saying we haven't done it before. I think we experimented at some points, but I think the best way to approach something like that is you're clipping the game, you're posting that, you're giving people actual highlights to see, and then you're just kind of wrapping things up at the beginning. Like our plan of attack generally is a preview. So hey, we're playing 100T, or we're playing Team Liquid, or playing whoever at this time. Be there. And then when the game starts, we're looking for clips. We've got a social team here that's watching all these games, and we're looking for, noteworthy plays. We'll post them. And then at the end, United won 3-0. We won't do United won 16-8, won 14-6, whatever. It's just at the end, we'll let you know how we did. And that's it for those people that are just kind of quickly hit and running on our account.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I was just looking through. The other thing that you guys do that I like is there's variety. I was just looking through to double check, but like there's not a lot of the exact same scorecard. And if you do, like, you change the player headshot. But I feel like you guys change this up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to keep it fresh because it's just, it gets monotonous seeing the same thing over and over. And what we'll do, what we've actually been working on a little bit, and some other orgs that mess around with this, but kind of like build a base template that you're going to, try and use as much as you can, but change some things within it that make it more unique and special to these players. Obviously, we like to use our headshots a lot, build the players themselves as well. I'm actually surprised you can find anything, though, because we haven't really played much in the last couple of weeks. It's pretty funny.
I mean, I'm in October media tweets, so it took me a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little brutal there just because we hit some downtime and we obviously lost COD. But the funny thing is, this weekend we have literally all 4 of our teams are playing, plus esports awards. It's madness.
So you mentioned a little bit that the social team watches these games. Obviously, they cut clips, put it together, do what they have to do. But like, how is that coordinated? Is it just as simple as social team in general, or individual person? You watch this game, you watch this game, you watch this game, you get clips, or is it kind of is it more along the lines of they're very independent as a team, and they know that the team's playing and they just take it upon themselves?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both of what you said. So we have, when I say social team, that's very few people. It's like 2 or 3 people, and probably one of them, it's their full-time focus, and that's I'm involved with that as well, just not as full-time. So like I said, we're a very small team. So the way that we approach it, Zack, who's our social media manager, he watches a lot of it. And what ends up happening, I mean, we have a Slack chat with our media team, and there's about 10 of us, and 7 of us or 6 of us are part-timers. And then there's the full 4 full-timers. And that's literally the extent of our company, just to give you some like awareness. Like we are a super agile, small team. And basically what happens is if Counter-Strike is playing tonight, we'll decide in our social meetings the earlier week before who's going to cover it. You know, if they need me to step in, I'm happy to do so or whatever. Things like this weekend, though, you know, like you like to make sure everything's all squared away before, you know, you're getting there. You don't want anybody running around without a head. Why isn't this being covered?
Right.
But things like this weekend, we literally have 5 events that could be going on at the same time. We have the Smash, we have Counter-Strike at ESL Pro League, we have Smash at DreamHack Atlanta, Smite Worlds, we have the Rocket League regional tournament, and then we have to cover esports awards because hopefully we're winning something. So that's 5 events. Like that's just, there's no chance that Zack is going to be able to do that unless he's like the Flash, which it's just not going to happen. So in that case, you know, we'll really break into a big team environment and they'll all help each other out. We'll start taking shifts to, you know, cover different things. And, you know, it's just pitching in and making sure it gets done. That's all.
Cool. I mean, yeah, that sounds, to me, I guess that sounds like best case scenario, both on paper and in practice. Because it's very hard. It's very easy to point and say, go do. But, you know, I don't gather that mindset from you at all. And it seems like anybody from the United team, that everybody seems always very on all hands on deck, which is the best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've hired pretty much everybody, our media team. And when I say our media team, I literally just mean our team because there's Matt. The way that our structure works is we have the 2 owners who are hands-on logistically at the very top levels, but then pretty hands-off with the brand.
Right.
Then there's Matt and Dan, who are the 2 GMs that work on player stuff. Matt works with the media team as well. But everybody else, like the media team is literally just the team. Like I don't even know why I call us the media team because that's the rest that we have. You know, there's some coaching staff and stuff like that. But and the way that I like to hire is I will 10 times out of 10, I hire character and I hire motors. I'm of the belief that you can be taught, you can learn how to be better at your job. But if you don't have the motivation to do so, then I don't care how talented you are. And I've been down this road, unfortunately, and I've been burned by it. If you're not kind of like a culture fit and someone who is going to come to work every day and grind your butt off, quite frankly, I don't want you. So that's, I think, why you kind of see that throughout our roster is everybody, you know, we're all company people. We're all committed to the vision that I have and that we have for the organization, and we work together and we crush it.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that is the way, you know, I think that is the most effective way to build a team. I agree with you in every aspect that, you know, you could teach the skill to an extent. Obviously, some people are better than other at certain things.
For sure.
But, you know, you can't teach motivation or you can't force it or anything like that. If someone wants to be there, they want to be there. If they don't, they don't. So I agree with that for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Last kind of thing I had, or quick topic. Are you guys on TikTok?
We're not.
Well, is there plans without, I mean, if there is and you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too. But
No.
Are there?
No. So I'll be totally honest with you. So I want to get into it. All right. I'm not as gung-ho as, you know, Gary Vee is saying, if you're not on TikTok, you're losing. You know, like I'm not like that. Yeah. I think it's a very intriguing platform. I think it's awesome. I don't really use it that much, but like my wife's little sister, she's on it all day long. I think it's awesome. I think we're still trying to figure out how to really utilize it because, like I said, we're a small team, and every other one of these teams that's like nominated for Org of the Year and stuff, they got these giant budgets. They've got facilities. I'm coming to you live right now from South Amboy, New Jersey. I'm sitting in my home office. You know, we're not at that point yet. And while we hope to get there, something like that, I feel like it's just like built for like someone that you see every day, and you can just kind of like compile content and start putting it on the platform. Whereas we are really run and gun. We're like guerrilla media people. That's what I kind of call us because, you know, it's like we get activated. Oh, we're going to, right now I have a videographer who just flew out this morning out to LA to go with a boot camp. We're boot camping before ESL Pro League. So I have Jordan going out there. So he could try and accomplish some stuff, but like I give him very specific goals of what we need because we only have this small allotted time with the players while they're practicing to become for their big tournament this weekend. And then I have Paul, who's one of our new hires. He's heading down to DreamHack Atlanta this weekend to cover both Smash and Smite. Now, like, if I'm giving him directives to be filming a documentary and to be filming some advertisement stuff and everything like that, where does it become so taxing on the player that like anything that you're trying to do, especially with like TikTok, which is like more fun stuff, how are you really going to accomplish that while they're trying to get into the frame of mind to compete and everything like that? So I think like once we get a facility, I think that's something that we're going to exploit a little bit more. I think we are missing out right now, and I think our brand is kind of like custom tailored and perfect for it. Especially with like Legion, our content creator and stuff like that. Like he's literally built for that platform. It's just something we haven't been able to kind of get to yet. But I will say, like, this, by the time you guys hear this and versus 2020, I think 2020 we're going to be a little bit different of an organization, and we'll be a little more prepared. Like right now it's just end of year crunch, and maybe try not to bite off more than we can chew, which we've done before. So that's something that you probably will see from us here soon. I don't think it's been done greatly by most orgs yet, but I think there's a couple like content creators and maybe Fortnite pros. I vaguely remember some guy from 100T being pretty big on it. It was just like absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I think TikTok is built for like a very specific type of content. I check it every day. We try. I'm trying to post daily on it. It's a little bit different for us because I could very easily do a quick run through of a jersey and post it. But every time I check the gaming and esports, like there's very minimal amounts of like gameplay stuff. So personally, I don't think I'd ever really want to see gameplay on there because I feel like if you want to see a highlight video, you almost want to see that on like a YouTube, or even maybe like you could probably get away with it on like IGTV or whatever. But I feel like with TikTok, it's a little bit harder because it's a shorter form. So I don't know. I feel like you guys would be, when resources permit, you guys I think would do phenomenally on there. But I think it's one of those things that you got to build a good system around, which I think ultimately you guys will do, and I'm looking forward to it.
I also think like a really cool aspect of that platform, I think it was one of the 2K teams or something was doing something with it. But what I've been kind of championing behind the scenes for Eunited for the last 6 months or so is kind of taking our brand. Our brand is Eunited, and like we have these superstar players, but we also have like Matt Burns and myself and our videographer. Like we have our own like sub brand, which is like I just go on and I roast everybody on Twitter and everything like that. So like if we were on the same spot, like I think that would just be absolutely hilarious, and something that's like not even going to be requisite with the players is just us, like just day-to-day tasks. I think like building even your staff brands, which is something like 100T has done well. Team Liquid's done really well. Like Damien and Ian are really well known to like just Team Liquid fans over there. I think that's something else that you could explore that I think is really great for that platform.
Yeah, no, I I think that's probably the best place to do it, because I feel it's gonna be really hard to get the commitment, not the word I'm looking for, but the commitment from the players to get involved on that. Buy-in. There we go. The buy-in from the players. I feel like that's going to just, like you mentioned before, it's just going to be another thing for them to have to worry about. That takes them away from playing. But things like, the staff brand or the individuals behind the scenes, it not only gives a highlight to what you guys do on a daily basis, and obviously you're not just sitting behind a computer typing tweets, but it lets people understand who you are as a person and who everybody else on the staff is as a person. And there's more to this whole esports thing than just the guys that go out and play. There's everybody else that supports them. And I think it doesn't necessarily need to be TikTok, but I think, that type of content will be very good for the esports space as a whole.
I think you guys have the perfect person for TikTok, right? Just gotta get Kevin on there.
Kevin, well, it's really hard to shoot a TikTok and control a mannequin, but I'm trying.
Innovate, man. Come on.
Yeah, I gotta get him set up to be like a like a puppet, or just pulling his.
Animatronic.
That could work too. I mean, he would be the perfect. He is the perfect TikTok, but we'll get there, I guess. We'll get there for sure. All right, cool. I feel like this is, the winding down time. So the most important part of the podcast is always the shameless plugging. So, you, as well, you don't go by Media Brute anymore, so I can't even call you that. But you as John, where's the best place for people to contact you?
So you can find me at twitter.com/brute. I was hoping to get the Brute handle, but some like charity used to own that thing and they won't give it to me. And I asked them if I could pay them for that, and they instantly responded to me. They're like, yes, $10,000. I'm like, come on, man. I got like 3,000 followers.
One day.
Yeah, you could look me up on LinkedIn, John DeHart, DeHart. But Twitter is where you're gonna find the most fun out of me. I think you'll find me to be an interesting follow because I don't really have a filter. I'm not, I don't go cursing off at people, but if I see something that I think is silly, I don't really have any problems with going to bat on Twitter for it. So, give me a follow if you want. Definitely follow Eunited. I do think that we have been one of the spiciest teams to follow on Twitter. We like to have a lot of fun with our opposing brands and stuff like that. And basically, if there's anything that makes you be like, "Holy shit, they actually said that," that's definitely me. So, just enjoy that.
Cool. All right, awesome. Well, I guess without further ado, that would be the end of the episode. If you've made it this far and you haven't, commented, liked, subscribed, whatever the action is on the platform that you listen to, be sure to do that. Get some more content. It gets me to understand that you actually like listening to these. And then without further ado, I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.